guys, today I'm going to show you how to do reborn nails using heat set paint, and today we are using Irresistables, and I'm going to use their Liquithin. You can use thinning medium instead of Liquithin if you want to. So the very first thing that we're going to do is mix up some color, and I'm going to be mixing up a moon color, and I'm just going to put a small amount there. We definitely do not need a lot, but I want to make sure that you guys can see it. I'm using Irresistibles light blue, and I'm using just a little tiny bit of blue, maybe a little tiny bit more. I don't want to get it too blue, which can happen really quickly, so just do little tiny amounts. Rinse my brush out. We are using Irresistibles white. If you do not have their light blue color, you can just use white and a really tiny amount of ultramarine blue. You'll just add more white than I'm adding in right now. And you want it to kind of get to this magic kind of mix, which takes a lot of trial and error. You just have to keep checking it. You don't want it to be too transparent, but you don't want it to look like it's painted on. You don't want it to look thick and unnatural. So you kind of just need to mix it, check it. If you need to add more thinning medium or Liquithin, add more. So this actual color looks almost right to me. I'm just going to add a little bit more white here, and then I think that we're good. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead, I'm gonna test this. I just have a test arm right here. I'm just gonna take a little bit of this pigment. I'm just gonna draw on it here, and that is actually perfect right there. Gosh, that rarely happens the first test. Normally I have to kind of add to it, change it, that kind of stuff. Okay. So the next color that we are mixing is going to be for our nail tips. That is going to be white with a really tiny little bit of yellow. So add my Liquithin first. This is just a primer yellow. Yellow is very strong. I'm just putting a really small amount on my brush there. And then we're going to add white to that. And a lot of people use like Flesh 08 or just plain white. I really like doing these slight variation in the color mix. I just find that it makes it look so much more realistic. It adds a lot more depth and realism. So if you can do these, I highly recommend it. Your nails will look a lot better. All right. And the next color that we are going to mix is going to be an Eyelid purple. That is what we're going to use for this, the purplish kind of red part on the nail here. Making a mess there. If you don't have Eyelid purple, you can make your own. You'll just want to use red and yellow, I'm so sorry. red and blue until you kind of get a reddish purple mix. This one, we do want it to be just a little bit more opaque. And I'm just gonna do a little tiny test with this one. And that is perfect as well. All right, and last color I promise is going to be a light purple. And this is just going to help to add depth to your nail overall. Trying to keep these closer together now. I wanted to do it on a glass palette so you guys could see it. And I think that is going to be good. We don't want it bright purple. We want it a little bit transparent. And I'm not going to do all of the nails. I'm showing you guys how to do one nail. And you will do all the nails exactly the same. Okay, so I'm just taking my purple. I'm just going to take kind of a regular size brush. And I want to do the lower half of the nail with the purple. And you can kind of blot it gently with the Cosmetic Wedge if you need to do that. So now that we have our purple on there, we are going to take our white blue color. And this is what we're going to draw a moon with. And our moon is going to be like a cut in half circle. And I use these small disposable brushes. These are also really great to have. They are micro Q-tips. They're actually for microblading, but they're really great for cleanup if you need to clean anything up. All right, so that is our moon right there. The next thing that we're gonna do is this purple color here, this reddish purple. And you are gonna draw directly over on the top of that moon, not into the white, but just right on top of it. And you can kind of brush up a tiny bit, and then you're gonna blot that with a Cosmetic Wedge. And if you want your line a little bit darker, you can get a little bit more. And you can just emphasize that line there. All right, so the next thing that we're gonna do is do a nail tip. Nail tips are really important. You want nail tips so thin. You do not want your baby to look like they've gone to a salon. So you're going to use the white and a little bit of yellow mix. You are going to do a really thin line. And let me just pounce that off. I got a part that was mostly Liquithin, I think. You don't want too much on your brush. But you are just going to draw a line right on top of the nail. You can take your finger and press it kind of underneath the nail and go along, and that will clean up the bottom here. Sorry, I know that it's shiny because it's wet, so it's hard to see, but it is just a slight natural looking nail tip there. If you mess up, you can take one of these, like here, I'll just show you. Okay, say that this was super thick. you could just go along the bottom and wipe it off. If it was messy, you could just wipe it off completely and redo it. So here, I'll show you. You would just redo it. I wanted to show you could wipe it off. I didn't mean to actually wipe it off though. All right, so that looks good. Again, it's nice and thin. And then we are gonna take this color again. And what you're gonna do is right under your nail tip, you are just gonna go with a little line right under this. That gives a little bit of extra color and emphasizes your nail tip. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and bake this and then I'll show you guys what it looks like finished. All right, you guys, so our nail is out of the oven. This is what it looks like. And, you know, if you wanted to do some other stuff, if you want more color, you could add more purple, you could add more red. I like mine really, really subtle. So this is like perfect for my style of painting. I have a nice thin, subtle nail tip, a visible moon, but not like super stark. And I really like my line. And my absolute favorite finish is a slightly dewy finish. Sometimes I use a satin varnish. I really like the finish of this dewy effect medium. It's a little bit more matte than satin, but it just has a very nice natural sheen, very much like your natural nail. So that is what I'm gonna use. And you'll just go ahead and brush it on. You want to make sure you don't have brush strokes. If you're using a different kind of varnish that is super thick, you might want to thin it out a little bit. But that is it. I'll bake this and that's it for nails. They are, I'm not going to say they're super easy, but they're very simple to do. Again, like the biggest points are having a very, very thin nail tip and slightly translucent paint, so nothing stands out too bright. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you in the next one.